How to truly win over a very difficult girl. Relationships between men and women generally go through three distinct stages. First, there's mutual attraction, where you like the girl and she likes you back. This sparks the start of your relationship. Then comes the second stage, the relationship itself, where love deepens between the two of you. Lastly, there's the third stage, the breakup. Hi, I'm Woman Wydham, and since launching this channel, I've noticed a recurring issue many of you have shared in the comments. People struggle to change a girl's feelings from "I don't like you" to "I like this guy and want to know more about him." In this video, I'll break down exactly what you need to do. But before we get started, show some love by clicking the like button and subscribing. This not only supports the channel and helps me create more content for you, but it also tells the algorithm that this video is valuable, allowing it to reach more people who might benefit from the information. Can I count on your like? Now, let's get to the heart of the matter. First, I want to share an inspiring story. A friend of mine, a young lawmaker in Pennsylvania, once had a political rival who was openly against him. Instead of confronting his rival as an enemy, he used a clever strategy to win him over. He discovered that his rival owned a rare and valuable book, so he politely wrote a letter asking to borrow it for a short time. The man agreed, and after reading the book, my friend returned it with a heartfelt thank you note. Something amazing happened. The rival, who once disliked him, began treating him kindly and eventually became one of his friends and supporters. That young lawmaker was Benjamin Franklin, and from this story we get the concept of the Benjamin Franklin effect. The Benjamin Franklin effect is one of the quickest and easiest ways to make any girl like you, no matter how she feels about you initially. The trick? Simply ask her for a favor. Let's break down why this works. When you ask a girl to do something for you, and she agrees, it creates a subconscious reaction. She starts to like you a bit more. Why? Because when we do favors for others, our brains assume we like them since we're going out of our way to help them. This method also taps into something called the consistency bias. Once someone has done you a favor, they're more likely to continue doing so because they want to maintain a consistent image of themselves as helpful and reliable. And who doesn't like to think they're reliable? Here's a tip. Start with small favors like borrowing a pencil, asking for class notes, or requesting help with a minor errand. However, the reason I brought up the Benjamin Franklin effect in this video is to introduce you to a much deeper concept, something I call the investment equation. Society has taught us from a young age that to make a girl like you need to be nice, do favors, and buy her gifts. But that's complete nonsense. I want you to erase that idea from your mind and replace it with this. A girl starts to like you when she invests in you, not the other way around. Think of it like gambling. The more money you lose, the more you want to keep playing. It works the same with a girl. The more she invests in you, the more she'll like and become attached to you. But if you're the one constantly investing in her, you'll be the one growing more attached. And this doesn't just apply to girls, it's human nature. The more you invest in someone, the more you tend to value them, sometimes even more than they value you. So, here's a piece of advice for all the overly nice guys out there. Just because you're being nice and helping someone with everything they ask for doesn't mean they're going to appreciate you. In fact, you'll probably end up valuing them more than they value you. Now, let's focus on how this applies to girls. Here's a golden rule. If a girl asks you for a favor, and you say yes every time, welcome to the friend zone. I know it sounds strange, but it's the reality. If she asks for something, no matter how small, try to find a way to say no. Why? Because when you do her a favor, she's likely to interpret it in one of two ways. Either you're trying to win her approval, which, as I've mentioned in this series, kills attraction, Or she sees you as just a friend because friends help out. Look, when a girl is attractive, every guy is trying to win her over. Whenever she asks for something, they all rush to do it for her. So if you agree, you blend in with the rest. And it's not because women are bad, it's just human nature. But if you say no, she'll start to see you differently. She'll be curious about you and want to know more. So to wrap things up, we've learned about the Benjamin Franklin effect and the investment equation. These strategies will help shift the dynamic in your favor. Here's the key takeaway. You shouldn't always agree to do favors for her. In fact, all of this boils down to a simple shift in mindset from what do I need to do to make her like me to what does she need to do to like me. Now, before we dive into the final piece of this puzzle, let's aim to get this video to 4,000 likes. It helps the channel and ensures more people can benefit from this content. So, let's talk about the final point, increasing your value. Think of dating as a marketplace. In any market, when something is rare, its value goes up. The same applies to the dating game. When your time and attention are in short supply, you become more valuable. This means that in the early stages of a relationship, you should avoid appearing too available. Here's an example that might sound familiar. You say, "Hey, I had a great time the other night. Are you free to grab a drink on Thursday?" She replies, "I'd love to, but I'm busy Thursday." You follow up with, "Okay, how about Friday?" She responds, "I can't on Friday either." Maybe Saturday. "I'm booked all weekend. Maybe next week?" Does this sound like something that's happened to you? If so, you might not have realized the key mistake. You were too available, and it lowered your value. Look, if you're not familiar with the dynamics of dating, this situation might make you feel like she's just stringing you along or playing games with your emotions. That's a totally normal reaction. But here's the thing. Dating isn't logical, it's emotional. What's really happening is that when you propose a time, and she says no, you're subtly devaluing your time compared to hers. Even if she doesn't consciously realize it on a deeper emotional level, you're losing points. And by continuing to chase after her, it signals that your time is easy to get, while hers seems harder to attain, making her time feel more valuable than yours. I get it. It feels unfair. You might think that relationships shouldn't be this way, that people shouldn't play these games, but the truth is, they do. So instead of fighting it, accept it, and let me show you how to turn the game to your advantage. The answer is simple. Embrace scarcity. You need to limit the availability of your time and attention to keep them valuable. For example, when you're setting up a date, always find out her availability first. That way, you're not chasing, just making things easier. Instead of asking, "Are you free on Thursday?" ask, "How's your week looking? When are you free to meet up?" She'll tell you when she's available, and then you can pick the time that works for you. Another important tip: when you're talking to a girl in a bar or texting a girl who just gave you her number, always be the first to end the conversation, even before you feel like you should. I know it's tempting to keep chatting if things are going well, but trust me, if the conversation drags on too long, she'll start to feel like you're not that special. So, make a rule for yourself. You're always the one who says goodbye first. It's for your benefit. It's easy. I've got to go meet up with some friends for dinner, and I hate being that guy glued to his phone. Let's talk soon.